Okay, so today we're going to dive right in. We're talking AI and how it's really changing things up when it comes to personal finance. So no more, uh, those like complicated spreadsheets that nobody likes dealing with. We're talking about smart tools that can actually give you an edge with your money.
hmm
And yeah, we've actually gone through a bunch of different sources to like really get into how this whole thing works.
Yeah. Think of AI in personal finance as like this super efficient financial brain that's always working for you.
Okay.
It uses all this cool tech like machine learning. And it basically takes all your financial data. So that's, how much you make, where all your money goes, all your spending habits, even what you're saving up for,
hmm
and turns it into like personalized insight.
Oh, so it's not just like a calculator or something. It's like it's actually understanding my money, my situation.
Yeah, exactly. It's way smarter than old school budgeting where you have to like track every single penny. These AI tools can connect right to your bank accounts and categorize everything automatically.
That sounds pretty handy.
Right. But the best part is what happens next.
Okay.
These AI systems start to spot patterns that you might not even realize are there, like maybe where you tend to overspend a little, or even like hidden ways to save. And then get this, it can actually predict what you're going to spend in the future, find savings you're missing, even suggest some really smart investment moves.
Wow. So it's almost like it knows me better than I know myself.
Kind of, yeah. But the really cool part is you can set a lot of these tools to just automatically take care of things like saving, investing, even paying bills, all based on rules that you set up.
Well, I think our listeners will love that. I mean, who wants to spend all their time worrying about bills and stuff, right?
Exactly.
So let's get into some specifics. What are some of these apps that people can actually use?
Oh, there are so many out there. For budgeting, you've got the popular ones like Mint. It gives you a really clear picture of where your money is going and even suggests some adjustments to your budget.
Okay, so like a digital budget buddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Then there's Wine Araby. It stands for You Need a Budget. It is, right. And it uses AI to help you plan out your spending ahead of time so you're not just reacting to things.
Makes sense.
And then there's Pocket Guard. This one's really interesting. It figures out how much you can safely spend after all your bills and essentials are taken care of.
Oh, I like that. Like a
Yeah.
safety net so you don't accidentally overspend.
Exactly.
So those are for budgeting. What about saving?
There are a ton of AI-powered savings apps popping up, like Digit, for example.
Okay, tell me about that one.
So what Digit does that's really cool is it takes the emotion out of saving money. Instead of you having to like force yourself to put money aside, the app just figures out when you have a little extra cash and automatically saves it for you.
Hmm. Interesting. That sounds like it could be really helpful for people who struggle with saving.
Right. And then you've got apps like Capital where you can actually set up rules for how it saves, like say rounding up your purchases to the nearest dollar and saving the difference.
I've heard of that. That's pretty clever.
It is like having a virtual piggy bank that fills itself up without you even thinking about it.
So how do these apps like Digit actually figure out how much they can save without messing up my budget?
Well, they've got these really complex algorithms that are constantly looking at your bank accounts. They see how much money is coming in and out, and they find those times when you've got a bit of a surplus. Then they just calculate a little bit extra that they can safely move into savings without, risking an overdraft or making you late on your bills.
So it's like they're always working in the background.
Yeah, pretty much. It's all about finding those little bits of spare cash and putting them to good use.
I like it. So we've talked about budgeting, saving. What about investing?
Yeah.
Like I hear all this stuff about robo-advisors. Are they AI powered?
Yeah, definitely. Robo-advisors are a really big deal. They've made investing way more accessible for people who maybe don't have a ton of money or experience in the stock market.
Good. That's good to know. So what are some of the big names in robo-advisors?
You've got companies like Betterment and Wealthfront that are really popular. They use algorithms to build you a custom investment portfolio based on what you want to achieve and how much risk you're comfortable with.
Okay, so walk me through how this actually works.
Sure. It usually starts with a quick online questionnaire. They'll ask you about your financial situation, how long you plan to invest, and how you feel about risk. Like, are you okay with your investments going up and down, or do you prefer something more stable? Then, based on your answers, the AI builds you a diversified portfolio. That usually means a mix of stocks, bonds, and ETFs.
ETF.
Oh, yeah, sorry, exchange-traded funds. Those are like baskets of different stocks or bonds, which help spread your risk around.
Got it, thanks. So the AI picks these investments for me.
Yeah, exactly. But the really cool thing is it doesn't just stop there. It keeps an eye on your portfolio and automatically rebalances it as the market changes. That way, it always stays aligned with your goals and your risk level.
That's pretty impressive. So it's kind of like having a personal financial advisor, but without the high fees,
Mm.
right?
Yeah, that's a big part of the appeal.
So we've talked about robo-advisors, but what about AI in the stock market itself? I mean, beyond those platforms.
Oh, yeah, there's a ton going on there. In the stock market, things move so fast that even the smartest people have a hard time keeping up. But AI can process all that data, the financial news, the trends, the company reports, everything. And it can use all that to spot patterns and make predictions way faster than any human could.
So it's like having a superpowered analyst on your side.
Exactly. And this is actually used in a lot of different ways. There's algorithmic trading, where computer programs are making trades at super high speeds based on the data they're getting. And there's sentiment analysis, where AI looks at news articles and even social media to figure out how people are feeling about a particular stock or the market in general.
Wow, it's like AI is reading everyone's minds to see what's going to happen next.
It kind of is. And then you've got AI that's used for predictive analytics. That's basically where it looks at all the past data to try and predict what might happen in the future, like how a certain stock price might move.
It sounds like AI is making some serious waves in the investing world. So
Yeah.
let's move on to something that I think a lot of our listeners will be interested in: credit scores. Can AI actually help improve your credit score?
Oh, absolutely. There are a bunch of AI-powered tools out there specifically for that.
That's great. What are some examples?
You've got companies like Credit Karma and Experian Boost. They use AI to look at your financial habits and tell you what you can improve.
Oh, so like what kind of things?
Well, for example, they might tell you which debts you should pay off first to have the biggest impact on your score, or they can help you find any mistakes that might be on your credit report. Those can really drag your score down. And they can even recommend specific credit cards or refinancing options that would be good for you based on your situation.
So they're kind of like a personal credit coach.
In a way, yeah.
So let's say you're already in debt, which a lot of people are these days.
Yeah.
Can AI help you get out of debt?
Yes, definitely. There are some really cool AI tools that can help you get a handle on your debt and come up with a plan to pay it off.
I bet a lot of people would love to hear about that. What are some of these tools?
Okay, so there's Tally and Coins, for example. These are apps that help you figure out the best way to tackle your debt.
Okay, like how does that work?
They look at all your different debts, how much you owe, what the interest rates are, what your minimum payments are, and then they suggest the most efficient way to pay everything off.
Okay, interesting.
Yeah, you might have heard of strategies like the debt avalanche method, where you focus on paying off the debt with the highest interest rate first, or the debt snowball method, where you pay off your smallest debts first to kind of build momentum. Well, these AI tools can help you do all that, and they can even automate extra payments for you. Some of them will even round up your purchases and put that spare change towards your debt.
That's awesome. Makes it so much easier. Now, I've got to ask about taxes. Everybody hates doing taxes.
Oh yeah, nobody likes tax season.
So can AI actually make it less painful?
I think it can, yeah. You've got AI-powered tax software now, like TurboTax and H&R Block. They've gotten really good at making taxes less of a headache.
Okay, how so?
One of the best things is that they can do a lot of the data entry for you. You can just scan or upload your tax documents, and the AI will pull out all the important information.
Wow, that would save so much time.
It really would. And these programs can also figure out what deductions and credits you might be eligible for, and they do a bunch of checks to make sure you don't make any mistakes before you file.
That's great. So it's like having a virtual tax preparer on your side.
Basically.
Hey,
Yeah.
so we've covered a lot of ground here, but we haven't talked about security. With all this personal information being used by these AI tools, how safe is it?
Yeah, that's a really important question.
What are these companies doing to protect our information?
Security is a top priority for these companies, and they use a bunch of different methods to keep your data safe. First of all, they use encryption. So your data is basically scrambled up so that nobody can read it unless they have the key.
Okay, that makes sense.
And most of them also use something called multi-factor authentication. That means you need more than just your password to log in. They might send a code to your phone, or you might have to use fingerprint or Face ID.
Oh yeah, I use that all the time for my banking apps.
It's really effective.
Yeah.
But it's also good to be proactive on your own. Make sure you use strong, unique passwords for all your financial accounts, and always double check what permissions you're giving to these apps.
Good advice. Okay, so I got to ask, with all these amazing things AI can do, does that mean human financial advisors are going to go extinct?
That's a good question. And honestly, I don't think so. AI is amazing at crunching numbers and automating things, but there's still a really important human element to financial advice. Like understanding someone's emotions about money, their individual circumstances, their long-term goals. Those are things that AI hasn't quite mastered yet. Plus, a human advisor can offer empathy and support, especially when you're going through tough financial times. So I see AI more as a tool to help human advisors do their jobs better rather than replacing them altogether.
I see your point. So it's not a replacement. It's more like a powerful assistant.
Exactly.
So let's talk about goals. Everyone has financial goals, whether it's buying a house, retiring early, or just getting out of debt. Can AI help us achieve those goals?
It definitely can. It can actually help you set realistic goals in the first place.
How does it do that?
Well, it can look at your income, your spending habits, and even predict how much you're likely to earn in the future. Then it can suggest goals that are actually achievable for you based on your individual situation.
Okay, that's super helpful. What about actually reaching those goals?
There are a lot of apps that can help with that too, like Emma and Empower, for example. You can set specific goals in these apps, like saving for a down payment, paying off debt, building a retirement fund, and then they'll track your progress and show you how you're doing. They can also adjust your savings plan if your income changes or you have some unexpected expenses.
So it's like having a little AI cheerleader in your pocket, keeping you on track.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now, we've talked a lot about the benefits of AI in personal finance. But are there any downsides, anything our listeners should be aware of?
Yeah, there are definitely some things to keep in mind. It's important to remember that AI is still a relatively new technology, and it's not perfect. There's always the risk of errors or glitches. And with any technology, there's the potential for data breaches or security vulnerabilities.
That's true.
And it's important to be aware of potential biases that can be built into AI algorithms. So you always want to be a little bit cautious and do your own research before blindly trusting any AI-powered tool.
Right. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, so to speak.
Exactly.
So just to wrap things up here, what are some of the other cool and maybe even unexpected ways that AI is being used in personal finance?
Well, there are apps that can help you negotiate lower bills or cancel unwanted subscriptions, like Trim, for example.
Really? That sounds handy.
Yeah, they can analyze your bills and find ways to save you money without you having to do all the work. And then there are AI tools specifically designed for freelancers and gig workers, which is a growing segment of the workforce.
Oh, that's interesting. What kind of things can those tools do?
They can help with things like automated invoicing, estimating taxes, and even forecasting your income, which can be really helpful if you have irregular earnings.
Okay, so it's like AI is stepping in to fill the gaps where traditional financial services might not be meeting everyone's needs.
Exactly.
So looking ahead, what do you think the future holds for AI in personal finance?
Oh, I think it's going to get even more exciting.
How so?
Well, I think we're going to see even more personalized financial coaching from AI. Like, imagine having an AI that can give you advice on your specific situation and help you make really informed decisions.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah. And I think voice-activated banking is going to become even more common, like being able to just talk to your AI assistant and tell it to pay your bills or transfer money.
That sounds super convenient.
It is. And who knows, maybe we'll even see AI playing a role in things like decentralized finance. That's still kind of a new and experimental area, but it has the potential to really shake things up.
So the possibilities are really endless.
Pretty much.
Now, I think it's safe to say that AI is already having a big impact on personal finance, and it's only going to get bigger in the future.
Mm-hmm.
So for our listeners out there, I hope this has given you a good overview of what AI can do for your money. It's all about using these tools to take control of your finances and make smarter decisions.
Absolutely. And remember, it's never too early to start thinking about how AI can help you achieve your financial goals.
So for you, our listener, what part of AI in finance are you most curious about? Is there a tool you're thinking of trying out or maybe a future development that you're particularly excited about? Let us know. And in the meantime, happy AI-powered financing.